And I was able to identify your hawk, Scott.
Not even close, huh?
Oh, I got it. I identified it.
Oh, I thought you said you wasn't able, right?
I was able to.
Oh, what kind of hawk was it?
I'm going to let you guess. It's a Harris's hawk.
Harris's hawk?
Yep.
Oh. How many hawks are there?
Lots. According to a couple of research places I found, there's generally 14 hawks found in Arizona.
Wow.
Typically. And there's 2 clues that let me identify it.
Mike Wiesner says it was Scott's hawk. That's got a ring to it.
You were pretty close to it. Was it sitting in a tree or?
Yeah, it was right there. I mean, I didn't hardly zoom in on it at all, you know. Too bad it's not a better resolution, but
It is what it is.
it is what it is. Exactly. Well, lots of nice astrophotography right now on Facebook. I'm looking at this image of M81 and M82 and the colors of the integrated flux nebula. Okay, didn't know that existed, but you keep exposing, you're going to find nebula everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice. Christopher Go got a new Celestron 14-inch OTA. And this image of the rosette from.
Share your screen.
Actually, I can't. It's a completely separate computer.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go. Oh, that golden eagle flying into the snow is pretty awesome. But not near as awesome as some of the birding photography that you're going to see today. That's cool stuff.
Global temperatures are on the rise. As our climate changes, Earth is seeing more extreme and unusual weather. In 2019, the National Audubon Society reported that 2/3 of America's birds are threatened by climate change. That's 389 species in danger of extinction. Scientists at the University of Wisconsin-Madison are trying to figure out how temperature affects bird biodiversity across the country, which will help conservationists figure out where to prioritize their efforts. The team used data from Landsat's thermal sensor, called TIRS, to map temperature across the United States. They also used a computer algorithm to map small-scale temperature differences. For example, a grove of trees in an open field. The algorithm compares the temperature variability in one area to those adjacent to it. The team then compared their temperature data to bird biodiversity across the country, focusing on the winter months and birds that don't migrate to find warmer temperatures. Turns out large-bodied bird species tend to choose places with higher overall temperatures. But for small birds and climate-threatened species, having a habitat with variable temperatures seems to be more important. The researchers speculate that some birds may use pockets of warmer habitat, like a nest, a snow burrow, or a patch of dense tree cover, to wait out a cold spell or weather event. In the study, temperature explained about a third of why some areas have more bird species than others, but that still leaves nearly 2/3 unaccounted for. To protect many bird species from extinction, scientists will have to find other factors affecting bird biodiversity.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific and the Explore Alliance, and this is our show on the wing with Kent Marts. And Kent was showing me some really beautiful and amazing birding photography from our viewers. So we really want to thank you for sending those in. I was really stunned by some of the stuff I saw there. And certainly some of it should appear in a gallery somewhere. It's just really superior stuff. So Kent, what have you got for the program today?
We have a variety pack, a grab bag,
a grab bag,
a grab bag of birds. So let me make sure I share my sound.
Birds Across America is what we titled the show.
Right. So here we go. Let's get started. Let me get my screen squared away here so everything starts working. And welcome to On the Wing with me. And Scott Roberts. So here we go. We're going to jump in first. Get my screen set up here. I got too many windows. And so I use my cheat sheets. First bird comes to us courtesy of Cameron Gillis. This looks like a phone picture of a northern flicker taken in Seattle, Washington. Now, the northern flicker is a fairly large woodpecker, 11 to 12 inches long, a slim, rounded head, and a slightly down curved bill with a long frayed tail that tapers to a point. Let's listen to this bird. It has a pretty unique call. There we go. And just looking at that unit, the bird, if you can see it, it's that red patch on the back of its head, black patches on the cheek, and a black patch on the chest, speckled belly, and a striped back. It's a very and we'll stop there. It's like I said, they're have that red patch on the back of their heads, white rump, conspicuous in flight, and pretty visible when perched. Underside of the wing and tail feathers are bright yellow for eastern birds and red for western. They have a regional difference we'll talk about here in a minute. You start looking closely, you see the brown plumage is richly patterned with black spots, bars, and crescents. They spend a lot of time on the ground where they're foraging for their favorite thing. That favorite thing would be ants. And we happen to have a video of said flickering.
Oh, so he's like throwing the ants in the air or something, or what is he doing?
That's the dirt.
Oh, okay.
They're digging holes looking for the ants.
I see.
All right. They flick dirt to find them, and they have a long barbed tongue to lap up the ants. And I guess they're called flickers because they flick all the dust out, the dirt out, trying to get to the ants. Northern flickers spend a lot of time on the ground. They'll perch in trees very upright on horizontal branches, and unlike most woodpeckers, which lean their tails against the trunk, they fly straight up and down, or sit straight up and down. They fly in an up-down path, heavy wing flaps interspersed with long glides, which is typical of many woodpeckers. You can find them in open habitat, always around trees, woodlands, edges of yards and parks. And in the Western United States, you can find them all the way up to the tree line in the mountains. Now, there's regional difference. There's two easily distinguished races of northern flickers. The yellow-shafted form on the east, which occurs through the Great Plains and into Texas, and the red-shafted form of the west. The key difference is the color of the flat feather shafts, which are either a lemon yellow or a rosy red. Yellow-shafted forms have tan faces and gray crowns, and red crescent on the nape. Males have a black mustache stripe. Red-shafted forms have a gray face, brown crown, and no nape. So looking at this picture, go back here, looking at this picture of the one on the video, it has a red crescent on the neck. That means it is a, oh man, I forgot what I finally decided. The yellow-shafted form. It's the yellow-shafted form. So all over the United States, way up into Canada, down into Mexico and Central America, not much down in South America. So this is the northern flicker. We'll give it one more listen.
Okay.
And so studying this, I'm sitting there, remembered what I was thinking about. Because there's no red on the back of the neck, that means that it's going to be a
Female.
red-shafted version, which doesn't make sense that the red-shafted versions don't have red on their neck, but they do. And the Western version, the red-shafted, is the Western version, and this is taken in Seattle, Washington. So that points to the differences between the pictures. So moving on, here is a cool looking bird. I've seen it called the clown woodpecker as a name. This is from a friend, Carl Bernhardt, who lives in Southern California. This is the acorn woodpecker. He got this picture at
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. He got the picture at Oak Glen Preserve in Southern California. He finds success getting very close to these birds because he goes to places where there's a lot of people and they get habituated to having humans around and they don't fly off. And in looking for a video that's got good sounds, there's a couple of people who have pet acorn woodpeckers. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, just, you know, crawling around them just like your people have pet birds. They have a pet, you know, pet parakeet or whatever. Let's listen to the woodpecker. It has a very rackety called the carac. Here we go. That call is similar to a lot of woodpeckers. That sort of sound is unique to woodpeckers typically. And you can see they're found throughout central Mexico along the west coast of the United States. This is a male, we know, because he has a full red crown. Females do not. They just have a patch on the back of their heads. These birds are, again, big birds, 7.5 inches to 9 inches long. You know, about the size of a robin. Very striking birds, as you can tell, mostly black above, you know, on the top side, with a red cap, a creamy white face. And if you start looking at it, it's like it is creamy. It's not white. And a black patch around the bill. So, it looks like they have a mask on almost. In flight, they show 3 patches of white, 1 in each wing and 1 on the rump. And as I said, females have a black cap that restricts the red on the crown to the back of their head. These are very unusual woodpeckers in that they live in large groups. They hoard acorns and breed cooperatively, raising young in a single nest. So the dominant female will destroy the eggs in the nest until she starts breeding or starts laying eggs. And then the other females will lay eggs as well. And they communally raise their eggs, raise the nest as a group. The group members gather acorns by hundreds and hundreds, wedging into holes they create in a tree trunk or telephone pole. These are called granaries, not granaries, but granary, like canary almost. And granary trees have been, holes have been counted to contain more than 50,000 holes.
Oh, jeez.
And they'll use the same holes year after year after year.
Yeah, why make new ones when you got
yeah.
50,000 to choose
Correct, to choose from. They also catch a considerable number of insects on the wing. They're very good flyers. And as we heard, they have that raucous waka waka call. So
I wanted to point, Mike Wiesner's pointing out that this particular woodpecker is at Oracle State Park, where we're going to hold Arizona Dark Sky Star Party, but we're going to have an on the wing bird walk type of event with Kent Marts. So
yeah, and hopefully some other local expert that knows their birds.
We do. We have another local expert.
Yeah. So if you look at the map, you can see there's a node that comes up along the New Mexico Arizona state line, and that node swings over and encompasses Oracle and the Tucson area as well. So very cool that we're going to see that bird. I really look forward to seeing it and hearing it because the pictures and the video are spectacular. I look forward to seeing it in person. So anyway, these woodpeckers like to live in obviously oak because they're called acorn woodpeckers. So probably going to have oak trees where they live or mixed with evergreen forests on slopes and mountains in the Southwest and along the West Coast. They're very tolerant of humans, and you can find them in towns where acorns are suitable and they have suitable places to store them. So these pictures that we have were dredged up, as Mike Wiesner says. Here's another one. And I'm pretty sure that's a female because it doesn't look like the red goes all the way to the head. And this is most assuredly a female. And look at the size of the acorn there. I mean, that's, some Western trees have big acorns, but that bird's, 10 inches tall, not 7 to 10 inches tall. It's a pretty good sized acorns. So anyway, Mike dredged up these photos that he's taken years ago in response to what he called a misinformed post on Facebook. They were saying it was a Nuttall's woodpecker, and he dredged up these photos, and they were claiming that the woodpeckers create the holes that the squirrels utilize to put the acorns into the woodpecker holes for winter storage. And he produced photos to prove that's not true. The woodpeckers put them in there to protect them from the squirrels, although squirrels can probably chew them out as well. These were taken a few years ago in Oak Glen Preserve, as he tells us, which is an apple growing region in the foothills of the San Bernardino Mountains, east of Los Angeles. He says, it's a crowded venue, and I like this comment, and this goes hand in hand. You don't have to be out in the boonies, to find birds, because he's finding all these birds in Southern California. He says, Oak Glen Preserve is a crowded venue during apple harvest season. After some cider, apple pie, and some Los Rios Ranchos smoked tri-trip 3-bean chili, he finds it good to work off all that with a hike through the Wildlands Conservancy Preserve. So there we go, a little bit about not just, going out in the sticks away from everybody. You can bird where there's a lot of people. So and just a beautiful bird. I think this is a fascinating bird. That bright yellow eye is just, a beautiful thing. Going back to that bird there, obviously it looks like a pine of some sort that wedging the holes in. But I saw pictures of some trees, and it looks like you just took a drill bit and drilled in everywhere you could drill a hole, you drilled a hole without touching another hole. So moving on to the spectacular cactus wren. Again, Carl Bernhardt. These photos were taken at Coachella. I found a typo. I looked and looked and looked. I missed this one. Coachella Valley Preserve in near Palm Springs, California. And typically we think of wrens as being small birds. This is the largest wren in the United States at 7 to 9 inches long. This wren is as big as that woodpecker was. Very large, chunky wren with a long, heavy bill, a long, rounded tail, and short, rounded wings. Let's listen to it. It has a really cool call. And this video was taken at Anza Borrego State Park. Scott, you're familiar with that?
Oh yeah, very.
Sounds almost like a car trying to start or something. So anyway, rah. So anyway, cactus wren is a speckled brown bird, as we can see here, with a white eyebrow that extends from the bill over the red eye all the way to the sides of their neck. Pale cinnamon sides. Yep, they just, a nice cinnamon color, and white chest with dark speckles obviously in rows. Just a very pretty bird. The back is brown with heavy white streaks, and the tail is barred white and black. Noticeable from below, especially as we can see here, the tail has black or dark cinnamon and white stripes on it. Males and females look alike, which make them monomorphic, and juveniles are slightly paler and have brown eyes. Unlike other wrens that hide in vegetation, the cactus wren seems to have effectively no fear. I guess when you're a wren as big as they are, you can sort of stretch your stuff a little bit. They perch atop cacti and other shrubs to announce their presence, just as we saw in the video here, and forage out in the open. They don't cock their tails over their backs the way other wrens do. Instead, they fan their tail feathers, flashing their white tips. So they live in desert, arid foothills, coastal sage scrub, and urban areas throughout the southwestern desert, especially in areas with thorny shrubs, cholla cactus, and prickly pear. Boy, I couldn't get that. All right, so Carl found this. There's a new bird on his list. Found it a couple of weeks ago on a Friday while visiting the Coachella Valley Preserve near Palm Springs. The preserve has several palm line ponds caused by the upwelling groundwater due to the San Andreas Fault. Here's a nice shot of the bird, amazingly close up. And here's a spot picture of the place he has this, or got these. The palm line ponds are caused by upwelling of groundwater due to the San Andreas Fault. The fault acts as a groundwater barrier, and he says, "I'm sorry, being a retired geologist is coming out."
Cool.
And he said, very fortunately, the big earthquake did not happen while I was there, because he would have been at ground zero if the San Andreas slipped, and probably, who knows what's going to happen to the springs as well. Anyway, he talks about All About Bird Map does not show the Coachella Valley as part of its range, but an internet search indicated that it's been ID'd several times at the preserve. And obviously he got pictures of it there. So that makes it, photographic evidence is pretty unavoidable documentation that it's there. So he doesn't see this oasis as not the usual habitat for the wren, but he felt like the tall palms did perfectly fine and appeared to be providing nesting material. So now we move on to, I guess, Scott, you're a viewer, aren't you? You view. Here's a picture.
Yeah.
Here's a picture. Robert Scott with his iPhone
sticking out of a car window. Okay.
Yeah.
As
So
we were driving by, this just quick shot that I did of this hawk, and I had no idea which hawk it was. So, but apparently Kent is mentioning it's a Harris hawk. So
I'm going with almost. I said probably. I'm going to go as almost certainly a Harris's hawk because
it was huge. It was huge. There were two of them there, and they were eating something. And but we drove by, looking at sites at Oracle State Park for the where people could set up their telescopes.
So looking at this, I was like, there's no way I'm going to identify this bird. And so I sat down and started looking at it and studying, okay, what can I see? And Scott, when you look at it, what's the most prominent feature you see on it?
Well, certainly to me, the tail with the white feathers and then the black markings,
and the white tip. Yep. That's it.
And the white tip. And the white tips actually go out to the edges of the wings as well, just a fine white line. Mm-hmm.
So I did an internet search for hawks of Arizona, and there's generally 14 species of hawks. And so I started scrolling through going, okay, most prominent thing you can see is the tails. So I started looking at the tails and very quickly eliminated most of them. And took me 10 or so minutes, and I finally zeroed in on this one. And then I Googled underside view, Harris's hawk, and I looked at it. And there's another prominent feature, Scott, that you start looking at. What's the other prominent feature you see?
What's the other prominent? Well, I mean, it's just the way the wings are, the way they fan out and the shape of them to me.
Yep. So notice the red underlinings on the wings.
Ah, yes.
There you go. That was the nail in the coffin of the identification of this as a Harris's hawk. I probably should change this to Harris's hawk because I'm above 90% certain that it's a Harris hawk. Now then, this is a big bird, like you said, up to 23 inches tall. So, it's a 2-foot tall bird, a very large, lanky raptor, long legs and a fairly long tail. They fly on broad, rounded wings. If you start looking at those, are especially the left one is a rounded wing. And interestingly enough, females weigh nearly twice as much as the males. So of the two you saw, the larger one, Scott, probably is going to be the female. Let's listen to the Harris's hawk call. Not much of a call. There we go. That's more hawk-like.
Yeah.
To my ear. That sounds almost like a bald eagle call right there.
It was just amazing to see so many birds there. I mean, just so close by.
Yeah.
I could have just stopped doing my job and just start taking bird photos, but it was fun just to be able to grab that real quickly.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to buy a camera just to start taking bird pictures with. So anyway, the Harris's hawk is a dark brown overall bird, as we can see, with reddish brown feathers on the wings and thighs, which you start looking at its thighs in there on its dark body. You can see the thighs going back down to the tail. And if you look closely, you can actually see at least 1 foot underneath the white tail. The tail is mostly dark with a white rump and white terminal bands, as we can see here from below. And here's the kicker. This is reading the description. From below, the inner wings are reddish brown. See that reddish brown that we talked about? Harris's hawk. Immature birds show patches of white on the belly and wings and have a narrower white band across the bottom of the tail. They also have fine barring on the underwings and tail. This is, I'm almost certain, immature, not a juvenile Harris's hawk. They are often seen perched standing very upright on telephone poles, cactus posts, and other features that offer a view of their surroundings. They hunt and travel in groups, and sometimes even walk or run on the ground when hunting in groups. They soar on rounded wings, frequently fanning their tails, exactly what we see here. Harris hawks occur in mostly semi-open desert lowlands among the mesquites, Palo Verde, saguaro, and Oregon pipe cactus. They frequent urban and suburban areas because those areas offer easy access to water and food. Namely, what, Scott? In urban areas, what's their active food?
For the hawks,
Yeah, for the hawks.
I would say rabbits, mice,
And pigeons.
pigeons,
Urban pigeons.
maybe small dogs.
When you're a 2 foot tall bird, small dogs become, a very heavy lunch, but very possibly lunch. So
Possibly lunch. Yeah.
yes. So
Yes.
when you're a hungry bird,
California, Southern California, you'd be surprised what can attack your little toy poodle. So
yeah, those miniature toy poodles, no, really small ones.
yeah,
That'd be
the real expensive ones. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be a real expensive buffet item for the Harris
Yeah.
hawk and
Right.
a lot of other raptors as well. So we're changing gears a little bit here, Scott. We're going to talk about a flying animal of some sort,
Okay.
but it's a leaping
Well,
rock.
look at that shot. That is amazing.
Mike Wiesner. I'm assuming this is at his house. We've seen some quail at his house.
It looks like there's a bird flying away too.
And not sure what it is. He thinks it's a sparrow. It's just really hard to say. But leaping lizard's rock squirrel is what this is. This is a rock squirrel. I found a decent range map of it over here. It's all the way through Mexico, up into the heart of Arizona, New Mexico. I found references to it being as far east as most of the panhandle of Oklahoma. So if we need to be looking for those, because they have to have rocks, and the mesas out in the panhandle of Oklahoma, you've been there, are perfect prime habitat. So let's talk about the rock squirrel, which is been filling his little tummy on Mike Wiesner's looks like sunflower seeds, and it looks like he's got orange halves out, probably for either hummingbirds or orioles and grosbeaks and things like that are migrating through. All right, the rock squirrel is a subspecies of rodent. Yes, tree rats, native to Mexico and the southwestern U.S., Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, West Texas, and here we go, the panhandle of Oklahoma. Largest members of the family, with adults measuring up to 21 inches, so nearly 2 feet long. Yep. Yeah. Their coat is speckled grayish brown. On the rear and bottom, the gray becomes more mottled brownish black tone. You start looking at that picture of the leaping Rocky. They have a marked light coloring ring around their eyes, which you can't really see here because of the shadow, and pointy ears that project well above their heads. Rock squirrels have long bushy tails and white edges. They forage during the day almost constantly by climbing trees and brush and on the ground. They collect generous amounts of food in their cheek pouches, which are gigantic. One researcher counted 62 Gamble oak acorns in one squirrel's pouches. I'm assuming that Gamble's 62 acorns. Now, I'm going to suspect that 62 are not small acorns either. I should have looked that up to see how big they are.
Oh, wait a minute. He must have been able to grab the squirrel somehow and then get these things out, or
Researchers have their ways.
they have their ways.
I doubt if it was rapid
So
onset.
Carl Bernhardt says tree squirrels raid my orange trees. One dropped an orange from my pecan tree on me today as I headed into my backyard. Not only, Carl, are they raiding your trees, but they're using the oranges as bombs to test your patience.
To test the person who protects them. And Carl, we really appreciate your photos. Thank you for participating. And look, if you're a first-time viewer or have been out there, if you've got bird pictures or start getting bird pictures, send them to us. We would love to have them and broaden our geographic coverage. You can send them to, and Scott will put this in the chat, Explore Alliance at explorescientific.com, and give me the backstory. I love telling backstories like Carl has, and finding out about the tri-tip three-bean chili out there while he's bird watching. Most foraging is done in the morning to avoid the hotter part of the day. They eat some of the food right away, but bring significant portions back to the lookout point or burrow where they can safely consume or store the rest. They are burrowing animals since they're rock squirrels. So here we go. This is the alarm call. It's all I can find of good video.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds sort of like, go ahead.
Alarm going off.
It sounds like, to me, it almost is a version of a groundhog call, which I grew up calling whistle pigs because, they whistle sort of like that in an alarm call. So anyway, now this is a teaser, and we're not going to talk about this bird much, but this is a teaser for when we have one of our dealers on who sells a lot of microscopes and eyepieces, a few telescopes, but he does. I'm going to rate him as an average photographer. When you, Scott, I mean, he's just an average photographer because. Oh, wait a minute! No, Kevin Shake is way.
No, I don't think so. This is amazing. Look at this.
Yeah. So this is a northern screech owl, and we will talk about it on a upcoming episode when he and his schedule. We had him scheduled, then it snowed. We didn't do it, and now catching up with him is going to be tough. This is a wild bird.
Yep.
That he creates. He's mastered zone focus. He's mastered depth of field. He has mastered lighting, really good lighting. This is a live wild bird.
Yeah, this is
in his backyard.
It almost looks like it's staged, but it's
staged in the sense that Kevin makes his opportunity. Some people have pet
when I mean
snakes.
stage, I mean like this is a stuffed bird.
A stuffed bird. Oh, okay,
right?
yeah.
And that's not the case here.
No, he's taking it at dark into the night, a bird flying in, and you know how people feed mice to their pet snakes?
Yeah.
Well, Mike feeds mice to his screech owls and other owls that wild friends. Yes. So he will put a mouse on he's actually built a little photo studio, if you will, out there where he can, and the birds, he said the birds get to where, after literally the first mouse he puts out, he said they'll sit there and look at it and then come down. And he said from then on, as soon as he walks out, he says you can see him getting ready because they know he's the buffet attendant. And he just I've shown you some other pictures, but I just find that just absolutely an amazing photo.
Yeah.
And he has and frankly, this is one of his good ones, but he's got better photos than this out there of all sorts of stuff at night. So if you want to check out his stuff ahead of time, he has Nature Friend magazine. You can search for that. and check out what he does. He also does microscopic snowflake photography. Say that 3 times fast, Scott.
What is that?
Microscopic snowflake.
Microscopic snowflake photography. Microscopic snowflake photography. Microscopic snowflake photography.
There you go. That's almost a tongue twister right there.
It's getting close.
So hopefully we get Kevin on here in a couple of weeks and talk about some of the snowflake and show you some snowflake pictures, which are absolutely astounding too. He really does a great job. So
and there's a link for Nature Friends or naturefriendmagazine.com. So
cool. So that's the show for today. If there's new people watching, Scott, we haven't given a lot of shout outs. Who's out there with us today?
Well, let's look at that. The first one to log in was Chris Larson. And then we have Billy's Astro, Mike Wiesner, Wade Prunty, who's still looking for an ED 115. Beatrice Hines was on. And she's calling him Wade ED 115. Centil Nagapan is on. Jeff Wise, maybe I mentioned already. Martin Eastburn. I think I already mentioned Billy's Astro. And who else? Joe Schmuckatelli. Yeah. And mentioned Mike Wiesner already. And they are all saying hello. Armando Lee says good morning from the Philippines. Norm Hughes. And who else? If I'm missing somebody, I'm sorry. Lots of comments back and forth with the group. Wade Prunty said that I was driving while I took this photo and also eating a double patty Impossible Whopper while shaving and putting in a contact.
Pekka just now posted a picture 6 hours ago. Pekka, man, you need to join us. Send us. It's a Eurasian tree sparrow.
Yeah.
In Stockholm, Sweden. And he's got a soot ball, it looks like. Pretty picture. So Pekka is one of our regulars. He's just not with us today.
Andrew Corkill says that comment from Wade is hilarious and totally believable. And Andrew would know that because I think he was probably on some astronomy events with me back in our Mead days. And there's a little bit of conversation about prickly pear and
edible.
It's delicious.
Yeah,
delicious. It's really, really kind of hard to eat, if you're just going to like bite into it like an apple. But it makes incredible juice and it's very sweet.
I've discovered in Scouts one time that you have to cook it right or else it has certain properties that can cause you to have
you out.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
An entire Boy Scout troop discovered that the hard way.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yes.
that's tough.
Yeah, it was an interesting backpacking trip for the next day and a half.
Yeah. Carl Bernhard is on. And that's about it right now. That's all that's chatting anyways. I know there's always people that are watching in the background that don't chat, but hope you guys enjoyed the show. And the images were not my image, but a lot of the images really, really incredible, top-notch photography, and can't wait to see more.
Well, Scott, spring migration is getting ready to hit. It's March, and it's going to be upon us. In fact, I need to start watching the migration, the lights out, the migration map where they use weather and forecast when the bird migrations are going to happen. Because everybody start doing that. But be watching the bird migration because that's the time you can pick up a lot of species no matter where you are. But the closer you are, like we're in a really good position here because we're close to the Texas. And so all the eastern birds that migrate that don't go over open ocean fly right through here. And so we have opportunity to see some birds here. We just need to get out and go do in all of our spare time. So anyway, but Scott, I want to talk about your picture, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't technically great. Yeah, it wasn't technically you had to blow it up a little bit. It was taken with an iPhone. The bird was flying.
Yeah.
But you managed to capture enough detail to identify what the bird was, right? It wasn't just some, don't know what it is. From that picture, I was able to pretty definitively, which when you told me about it, I'm like, oh boy, good luck here. But I was able to, the more I think about the woman, say, I'm nearly certain that it's a Harris's hawk because
it was fun to take the image, it was fun to capture him like that. So, because you're sticking your iPhone out a car window as you're driving along, you don't know what you're going to get. So, but it was nice to see him fly like that and to be able to get that that moment. So
so it was awesome. But love doing it. Send us your pictures, please. I know Carl says he's got boxes and boxes and boxes. I love having his pictures, but we need to get somebody from Maine out there. And, we need to get, down in Costa Rica. Trying to blank. Had him on the show a few weeks ago. Can't think of his name.
oh, please,
Golly. Golly.
No, isn't his name Itzhak or what is his name?
Tizak Suarez. Thank you.
Yeah.
Get Tizak to start sending us some of those crazy, rainforest jungle birds that he has.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
All right. Well.
All right. And Martin Eastburn says, and the birds are back. Lots of them have come back. Rain helped. Sadly, a massive tree in front is now gone as it was split in the ice storm. Yeah. So plant more trees.
I'm not going to say what I said. Okay, I saw an insult the other day. It was like, somewhere on the earth is a tree that's making oxygen that you produce. You should go apologize to it. I thought that was sort of an environmentally brutal joke, insult. Yes. So anyway, all right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Kent. And, I'm thinking that for the Oracle State Star Party and the On the Wing birding trek, okay, that maybe we have like a bird photography contest from, the images
absolutely.
Oracle, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So there we go. We should think about that.
I like that.
Yep. And we'll bring some binoculars. We'll bring some nice high quality binoculars that people can try and use. But this park, Oracle State Park, is, as Mike Wiesner promised, it really is a gem. And we're very excited about it. So we're both busy putting together the speakers, the rest of the venue. Part of that looks like it will be the Biosphere 2. Okay. So not making any real promises yet because I've got to get everything nailed down. But if it all does work out, we will actually have a global star party from Biosphere 2. They'll be part of our lecture series during the Oracle State Park event. And icing on the cake is that you can stay at Biosphere 2. So how cool is that? So
and it's not, and Scott, it's not expensive in the scheme of hotels.
It's not expensive. It's not expensive. No,
it's the price of a mid-range hotel.
Right. Well, right now, I mean, it's half the price of a hotel you can get in Tucson.
Wow.
So
yeah.
I was shocked at the prices of hotels and rental cars that are out there. There's a shortage of rental cars, because of rental car companies sold off their fleets when no one was renting them, okay, during COVID. Now, and then exacerbate that by the fact that there was hardly any cars available for sale, okay, because of a chip shortage. And, so I imagine the rental car companies got top dollar for their old cars. But it's, a rental car for me to make that trip, it was over $100 a day. And I'm used to spending $35 a day,
Right,
something
right.
like that. So that will change as more rental cars become available. But right now it's a little thin. But the Biosphere 2 is only 10 miles away from Oracle State Park. So it's really, really close. And it's a very, very interesting habitat. So, but more to come.
Now, what are the dates, Scott? Probably need to throw the dates out there because
it's going to be September 21 through 25th.
right.
Yep.
So everybody, take out your phone right now and put it on there,
A date. That's right.
and go ahead and call and get your airline tickets to sunny Tucson, Arizona.
Or drive. The drive is
Yeah,
going
the
to
drive.
be awesome out there.
Yeah, I've not been down to Oracle, but I've been on I-40 all the way to California, and so
When we go to the Winter Star Party, the majority of people drive because they bring their telescopes and they bring all their gear and everything. A lot of people drive all the way down from Canada to the Florida Keys. Okay, that is a long trip, but there's no better way to do it, really. Because you want to make sure all your gear arrives intact, and it's the least expensive way to ship stuff like that. So if you're bringing a big Dob, bringing your astrophotography rig, all those things, driving is probably the best option. So,
Yep.
And that's the way I'm going to do it. So anyhow, you guys have a great evening, and until tomorrow, keep looking up. A reminder that we have the Focus on Astrophotography program tomorrow at 4. So 4:00 Central. Take care, and we'll talk to you later.
bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.